2005 saw the introduction of the 6th generation Corvette, and with each generation, the Corvette becomes more and more of a capable, formidable sports car. While a little over 5 inches shorter than its predecessor, the wheelbase was stretched by 1.2 inches, at the same time having a 1 inch narrower overall track. For the C5, the top-of-the-line engine was the LS6 and produced 405 horsepower. However, the base engine for the C6 was the then new LS2 at 400 horses with 400 pound-feet of torque. In 2008, the base C6 saw a power boost in the form of a new engine, the LS3, that cranked out 430 horsepower and 434 pound-feet of torque. Add the optional vacuum-actuated valve exhaust, and you saw a peak of 436 horses and 438 pound-feet of torque. The suspension layout was pretty much the same as the C5 with the rear-mounted transaxle, making for a near 50-50 weight distribution once again. The big news came a little earlier in 2006 as the new Z06 hit the streets. This new Z broke all the rules by dropping the newest engine under the hood, the LS7. A wicked all-aluminum 427 small block, the largest displacement small block engine ever produced. It featured a sleeved aluminum block with forged steel internals and titanium alloy connecting rods mated to hyperprotected pistons. There were also titanium intake valves and sodium-filled exhaust valves with a dry sump oiling system. Power output of the LS7 was 505 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, making it the most powerful naturally aspirated engine made by General Motors at the time. The C6 Z06 wasn't just a base Corvette with a hot engine. No. This fire breather was its own model line. Built at the same factory as the C6R race car, the Z06 sat on its own aluminum frame versus the steel frame of the average C6. The engine sat in a magnesium alloy cradle. The floors were made of a balsa wood carbon fiber composite, and the front fenders are carbon fiber, all to save weight. Other weight savings items were reduced sound deadening, no power rear hatch, no power passenger seat, and the battery was mounted in the rear for better weight distribution. A Z06 weighed in at 3,179 pounds versus 3,208 pounds of a normal C6. On the outside, the body of the Z06 sets itself apart with larger wheel openings and wheel flares all the way around, draped over 18 and 19-inch lightweight forged aluminum wheels, front and rear respectively. The front wheels were clothed in large 275/35/18 tires, while the rear was wrapped in massive 325/30/19 tires. Stopping power came from huge 14-inch cross-drilled front brakes with 6-piston calipers, accompanied by 13-inch 4-piston caliper brakes in the rear. The entire suspension was beefed up with larger anti-sway bars and stiffer springs and shocks. The easiest way to spot a Z06 was a center-mounted intake scoop on the front fascia and a front splitter, with a larger-than-normal rear spoiler. The side also sported a brake scoop right in front of the rear tire. The entire package packed a wallop, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, a 1098 quarter mile at 123 miles an hour, and a top speed of 198 miles an hour. All for about 70 grand, if you can find a dealer that wouldn't mark it up by an extra 30 grand. To put things in perspective, the top 5 cars in the world in 2006 were the Bugatti Veyron at number 1, number 2 being the Saleen S7 twin turbo, the Ferrari F430 at number 3, the Z06 at number 4, and number 5 being the Lamborghini Gallardo Spider. The Corvette was the cheapest on the list at 71 grand, with the next cheapest being the Ferrari at over 200 grand. Needless to say, the Z06 was in good company. It provided comparable performance for a fraction of the price. It definitely made the supercar manufacturers take a second look at things. Some may have just started noticing the Corvette, but it's been competing on a world stage since Sebring 1956. I mentioned earlier that the Z06 was built at the same factory of the C5 race car and gleaned direct benefits from it. As I said before, racing improved the breed and from the experience of direct competition on the track. So, in 2011, Chevrolet took what they learned and applied it to the Z06 on the street and came up with RPO Z07, the ultimate performance package. It cost about 10 grand, but customers received so much more. Each Z07 package included the F55 magnetic ride control system for improved handling and Brembo carbon ceramic brakes. Rolling stock was upgraded to ZR1 style wheels wrapped in Michelin Sport Cup tires. A second option was also added, RPO CFZ, the carbon fiber package. For about 4 grand, owners received more aggressive ground effects that consisted of a larger front splitter, side rockers, and a full-width rear spoiler, all in carbon fiber, of course. This package was enough to allow the Z06 to run the Nürburgring in 7 minutes, 22.68 seconds, clearly placing the Z06 and Z07 packages on the radars of every supercar manufacturer.